everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I'll be showing you guys how to draft the perfect waistband for your pants trouser. What I mean by perfect is such that by the time you wear your pants trouser, there will be no space or any gaping around your waist. So that's how perfect it is going to be. Please subscribe to our channel and then turn on notifications so you get updates when we post new videos. And now we can begin. So guys, here are my trouser patterns. I have made my adjustments based on the previous video, that's the pattern drafting video. If you've not seen that, go ahead and watch that. I'll link it up in my description box. So guys, these are all the tools I'll be working with for this tutorial, so I'll just set them aside and then we'll be working with our front trouser pattern first. So right here is our dart, and what we want to do is fold in our dart to create this waistband. So we're just going to fold it in like so. So what you want to do is fold in that dart so we can get our waist, measurements without the dart. So this is what we have. I'll just go ahead and pin that dart down just to hold it in place. Once that's done, guys, we are going to, get a fresh pattern paper and put it underneath. Now, I'm using this thumbtack to mark a point at this zipper fly area, and I make sure that it is visible on the pattern paper underneath. So basically, the points with the thumbtack will create bigger, holes than my tracing wheel will do. So I'll just go ahead and mark that, minus the seam allowance at the side seam area, as you can see. So we're excluding the seam allowance, only marking from zipper fly to that point. Now, from this point now, I'm just going to use my tracing wheel, to trace out my waist on this front trouser pattern. As you can see, I'm not tracing the seam allowance area, just the waist up to the zipper fly, point. And then once we have that, I will lift up my trouser pattern, and then whatever mark my tracing wheel has made with the point my thumbtack has made as reference, I'll just go ahead and flesh it out with my marker pen. So that's what I'm going to do now, and I'll be using a curved ruler, to smoothen things up while I flesh out, the points that my tracing wheel has made. So after fleshing this out, we are going to end up with a curved line at this part of the waistband, like this. This is how it's going to look. And of course, what we have fleshed out should look similar to the waistline, as you can see. So I'm going to label this area as center front area, even though we have a zipper fly allowance there. So I'll just label that the center front area, and then I'll go ahead and label the other side, the side seam area, so we know which is which. So after this now, I'll go ahead and mark my waistband width of 2 inches. If you remember on my trouser pattern, I removed 2 inches from my waistband. And as you can see, I'm marking that 2 inches from this line right here, so that we can end up with a curved line similar to what we have right here. So I'll just go ahead, get my curved ruler and, trace this out. So like I said, what we are tracing out should be similar to what we have down here. And then I'll go ahead and join this point as well. I'll just go ahead and join it. So the next thing we're going to do now is to just mark out where our zipper fly is. Just mark out the zipper fly on the band. So for my zipper fly allowance, I have 1.75 inches from this point right here to the end. So I have 1.75 inches. I'll just go ahead to my center front area of the waistband, mark 1.75 inches, come right down, mark 1.75 inches as well, and then I'll go ahead and join the points. So this is the part of the waistband that will be sewn, to the trouser, to the waist of the trouser. So guys, we need to know where the bottom is and where the top is. So I'll just go ahead and use an arrow to indicate where the top of the band is. And for the fitting of this waistband, I'll come right at the top at the side seam area. I'm going to remove 1/2 inch like so. So this will ensure that you don't have any gaping around your waist. And then what I'm going to do is connect that 1/2 inch that I've removed, connect it to the bottom of the waistband like so. So I'll just connect it like this. So it's only from the top we're removing 1/2 inch. Then what I'm going to do now is go ahead and add a 1/2 inch seam allowance all around my band. Please measure your seam allowances. Oh, don't be like me that will just go ahead and use my ruler to trace it out. As you can see, I have half an inch right here. So once we're done now, I'm just going to go ahead and cut out the band, and this is what it looks like. This is what we have for the front piece. Now for this front piece, we're going to be cutting 4 pieces. So I'll label this the front. We're going to be cutting 4 pieces. As you can see, the waistband sits, right on the waist of our trouser, like so. So this is perfect. So what I'm going to do now is label this by the number we're going to cut this out. So I'll be marking four pieces on this paper, like so, if you're cutting it only on fabric. But if you're going to be cutting it on fabric and lining, we're going to be cutting 2 pieces for the fabric and 2 pieces for the lining. So 1 piece of each will go for each trouser leg. 1 piece of the waistband for each of the fabrics you'll be using will go to each trouser leg. So once we're done with this, guys, we're going to go ahead and move to our back trouser pattern. I'll be folding in the back dart towards the crotch curve like this now, as you can see. So I just go ahead and fold in the back dart, and then after folding, we'll go ahead and pin that down so that we can trace out our waist measurement. So guys, what we're going to be doing for the back waistband is going to be a little different from what we did for the front. So I'm going to fold this pattern paper that I have into 2. Now the folded edge of that pattern paper, I'm going to be placing it at our crotch curve area. But I need to fold in the seam allowance at this crotch curve area because we don't need it to take, to trace out the waist area of this pants trouser. So I'll just make sure that I align that folded part of our pants trouser pattern to the folded edge of the pattern paper, like so. And then I'll go ahead and pin this down. So what I'm going to do next now is get my thumb tack. Right here is the center back, and then right here is the side seam area. So now at this side seam area, we are going to be placing our thumb tack like so, excluding the seam allowance because we don't need the seam allowance at the side seam. So what I'm going to do now is get my tracing wheel, and then we're going to go ahead and trace out our waist measurement. From this point where we place the thumb tack like so, very, very important. The thumb tack is to help us know where to, stop by the time we are fleshing this out on the new pattern paper. The thumb tack will give us a very, very visible point to stop. So after tracing this out, I'm going to lift up my pattern and then go ahead and, flesh out what we have just, traced out with my curved ruler. So I'll just go ahead and do that. And of course, we are going to end up with a curved line. So I'll label this the center back, that's the folded part, and this other side, the side seam. This line we have traced out now is the part of the waistband that will, be joined to the waist area of the back trouser. So I'll go ahead and mark my waistband width of 2 inches from this line right here. That is the bottom line of our waistband. I'll just go ahead and do that so that we can end up with the same curved line that we have at the bottom. So after marking it out, I'll just go ahead and, flesh that out so that we see what our back waistband will look like. So I'll go ahead and join this point as well. And then what I'll be doing now is shaping out the band, removing half an inch from the top of the band like we did for the front. And then I'll just go ahead and join it like so. So this is similar to what we have for the front. So I'll use an arrow to indicate where the top of the band is. And then I'll go ahead and add my half an inch seam allowance all around this pattern. So that's what I'm doing right now. And this is what we have. And of course, we're going to cut this out. So guys, I'm going to label this now. This is our back waistband. This is what it looks like. You can see how curved it looks. So this is definitely going to sit on your body really, really well. What I'm going to do now is go ahead and label this, by 2 pieces because it is on fold. So if you're cutting it on fabric and lining, you're going to be cutting 1 piece of each. But if you're cutting it on fabric only, you're going to be cutting 2 pieces. So guys, here is my band for my pants trouser. I hope this tutorial was very, very easy for you. This is what it looks like, guys. Please remember to like this video, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, click notifications, and we're going to be seeing you guys in our next video. Bye guys.